She was loyal and faithful, good to her word even after making a spontaneous promise, and went through personal hardships rather than rely on other people's charity. Take a look at Charlotte Johnson Wild's extraordinary life and you might wonder how her eldest son Boris turned out the way he did. The PM's mother, who died this week aged 79, would later describe falling for Stanley Johnson's charisma and intelligence, then trying her best to bring up their 4 children through a ghastly marriage to a man who often left her on her own and who she suspected was a serial cheater. And, according to recent revelations, she kept the family together for 16 years together despite his neglect and philandering, and an incident which left her with a broken nose, until finally walking away after suffering a breakdown and spending 8 months in a psychiatric hospital. It was in the midst of such a toxic environment that Boris, who was 15 when they divorced, along with his siblings Joe, Rachel, and Leo, spent their formative years, going on to split their time between their father's home and their mother's new Notting Hill flat. Even so, the PM said in 2015 that his mother was the supreme authority in his family who taught him to believe strongly in the equal importance, the equal dignity, the equal worth of every human being on the planet. Charlotte, a talented painter, met Stanley at Oxford University while she was reading English, at a dinner organized in his honor after he won the Newdigate Poetry Prize. At the time she was already engaged but recalled how Stanley wooed her. "We went for a walk and he suddenly said, 'Love is sweet.' Revenge is sweeter far. To the piazza. Ah ha ha ha," which made me laugh so much I fell in love with him. They married 8 months later, aged 20 and 22, and Charlotte gave up her degree to follow Stanley to the US. Their first child Boris was born in New York in 1964. Describing how he got his name, she said, "When I was 3 months pregnant, we traveled to Mexico City by Greyhound bus. It was very uncomfortable, I was desperately sick. We stayed with a man called Boris Litwin, who drew me aside and said, 'You can't travel back like this, here are 2 first-class air tickets.' I was so grateful. I said, 'Whatever the baby is, I shall call it Boris.'" After Stanley finished his course, Charlotte returned to her studies, completing her English degree while pregnant with Rachel and looking after a 10-month-old Boris. The couple had 4 children together and moved 32 times during their relationship because of her husband's work commitments, including one stint in Brussels when Stanley, who later became a Tory Euro MP, got a job with the European Commission. Talking about bringing up 4 children, who she taught at home for a year, she said, "They were quite a handful but I loved them tremendously. I taught them very odd things that I wanted to know, like how to draw a squirrel. It was such fun, so cozy." Charlotte would later remember how her husband would spend more time traveling around the world than with his family, especially after changing his job to work with the Rockefeller Foundation in New York.